Welcome back to the Book Breathing Bitch Queens podcast. I'm Allie.
And I'm Sam. And this week we are looking at chapter 23. This is where Tamlin and Feyre go to this cute little part of the forest, and he kisses her eyeballs, and she gets to see Prythian without the glamour. It's a short chapter, but it's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah. My first, I think I mentioned this last week, but I just am such a little troll. But the last chapter ends with, I didn't lock my bedroom door that night. And then in the next page, she's laying on her back with Tamlin.
Yeah.
It's a little, maybe it's intentional, honestly.
Maybe.
Like,
I see some Lucien Hybern theory.
oh?
A little bit. So it says, the next afternoon, I lay on my back in the grass, savoring the warmth of sunshine filtering through the canopy of leaves, noting how I might incorporate it into my next painting, yada yada. This one. Lucien, claiming that he had some miserable emissary business to attend to, had left Tamlin and me in our own devices, and the High Lord had taken me to yet another beautiful spot in his enchanted forest. And I wrote, miserable because he has to go tell Hybern to fuck off now? Like, I would be so, like, yeah, you guys go and fucking hang out and get cozy and maybe, like, woo! And yeah. I'm gonna go talk to Hybern and tell him, pump the brakes, we're not going to war, Tamlin's got a girl.
We're not going to war because Tamlin has a girlfriend.
I think we're gonna go with a different route, and it's the one where Tamlin gets laid and not fucked.
Yes, yeah.
For now, we'll be back around soon to discuss things, but yeah, like claiming he had miserable emissary business. Like, what emissary business you doing, Lucien? Who you talking to? All the courts are under the mountain. You're not going under the mountain. Who you talking to?
Yeah, and I do like that it's meant to be. It's like Feyre's like clearly seeing through it, like claiming he had to do this. Like it's like wink, wink. She knows that he's letting them be alone, but part of me is like, but maybe it actually is. It's like meant to be like, oh, well, Lucien's trying to get us alone, but also maybe there's more truth to it, which is always the most fun option. My second note is Willow's singing puts him to sleep. Real insightful, Allie.
Yeah. Mine's right above that, and I want to know why the delicate arch of his pointed ears made her pause. Like, is she, like, I guess maybe it's like another realization that he's other, that he's different.
Question.
Like, she's watching this dude sleep, right? She's admiring him. And I think that might be what it is, was that she's admiring him and that he's comfortable and that he's dozing and his golden hair and his mask is glistening bright against the emerald carpet. Here we go, our gold with green, right? The delicate arch of his pointed ears made me pause. And I'm wondering if it's supposed to be like a, right, he's not human. He's not what I am. It also feels a little like
ear fetish?
That, or like,
I'm joking.
No, but like not an envy, but maybe a little bit of like, what is it like? I would like to know what it might be like, right? That like there's a curiosity to it a little bit, which speaks to either the fact that she is something, or the foreshadowing that she will be made.
Yeah, I like all those interpretations, honestly. Except for being horny for years.
It's not the weirdest thing to be horny for. He turned into a giant cat dog thing.
True. Okay.
And sleeps at the foot of her bed purring, so you know.
That's funny. Yeah, I didn't actually read that.
I think that this is, I don't know that this chapter is supposed to be hardcore in-depth. Like, maybe we get a little something with Lucien here. Maybe we get some foreshadowing of this, like, interest in the nature of, like, the physical nature of fae, or some curiosity. But I think this whole chapter is really designed to, one, talk about and build this relationship between Tamlin and Feyre. And also to talk about the magic, right? It does a little world building, does some stuff, but I think that there's some there are a couple of good questionable things here.
Yeah.
So I don't know why you underlined the willows singing was putting him to sleep, but
I didn't actually underline it. I like wrote that sentence out in my document and I was like, why would I just write a basic ass observation? But under it I wrote intimacy with Tamlin equals wider understanding of the magic world, which I think is more interesting
yeah,
because we
that is.
see, you know, she gets access because a kiss or because he kisses her
Mhm.
eyelids because she's out on this date, and he tells her about it. Like it's like
Yeah,
this intimate moment where he says he's sharing a secret with her. So on many levels, there's little intimacies or different types of intimacy happening, and that's what gives her access. And ultimately, obviously, her entire relationship with Tamlin is what gets her to the point where she's going to be made. And so, like, it's like
yeah,
an interesting, like, I don't want to say price, but
kind of. I
it's kind
mean,
of interesting.
it's something for something.
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah.
it's yeah,
I underlined your senses are sealed off from everything after he says that she's human.
same. Yeah.
And it's interesting because one, clearly maybe that's so, but there's a glamour that he clearly put
Yeah,
on.
he took his ownership out of that sentence. Instead of saying,
Yeah.
"I put a glamour on you," he says, "Your senses are sealed off." Who did that?
And like, are they really? Or is this the glamour? Like, would any human come over and just be like, oh, this looks kind of cool? Or is this specifically the glamour? Like, you got to wonder about, yeah, his agency in what she knows.
Yeah, I think it's probably both. Like, since I think Alice or someone has said like humans don't there's your senses are off in
Mhm,
Prythian. It
mhm.
always reminds me of you know Harry Potter, like Muggles don't properly look.
Yeah.
Like as if you just properly looked, you'd be able to
Yeah.
see the 40 fairies that live in your house.
I was having a whole conversation about infrared and ultraviolet because that's what happens in a house full of children when they ask questions about space. And it made me think about something like this where it was like it's not so much that my senses are closed off, but like I only have a certain spectrum of visible light that my eyes can physically do.
Yeah,
And so I'm like, I'm wondering if it kind of lives in that sort of vein where it's like, well, yeah, like your human eyes can
you got
see
less nerve
Roy G. Biv,
receptors.
right?
Yeah,
And you can't see the infrared and the ultraviolets and all the, the magic of the space, which all right, fine. I know that it's used a lot. It's tropey.
yeah.
It's a tool. It's fine. Um but I also, yeah, you're right. He completely takes his own sort of agency or ownership out of the glamour altogether.
And it could be that both are true. It could be that he glamored her from the things at his manor, like the people specifically, but maybe actually, if even if he hadn't done that, this would still look like this. So
Yeah.
maybe he's saying
Or
both.
she wouldn't hear the willow.
Yes. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I could see it being a little bit of both, but it's still funny that like I think a lot of the glamour is because he put that there. And also it also points to, right, he says you're human, your senses are sealed off, but she is already seeing through glamours left and right, and so
Hmm.
it kind of points to, well,
Yeah.
she's got a couple extra senses than most humans.
Yeah.
And definitely Nesta too, so
This is so extra flirty putting it on too. I like I mean
yeah,
it's
people probably
fuckboy
like kick their
energy,
feet
but
to this
like
scene.
it's yeah, I mean it's a good, he's got some game, but yeah, I just love when he's like so he plucks a strand of grass from her hair. So already he's touching her, right? Heat
Yeah.
radiates from my face where his fingers graze my cheek. All right, cool, cool. I could make you able to see it. And then his hands are still in her hair, right? See the world, hear it, smell it. And then doesn't he like lean in and he's like, taste it? And then he flickers to like, he looks at the bruise on her neck. Like, so seduction.
Yeah, actually, technically it doesn't pause in the writing, but the way the sentence is written, it makes you assume that there is a natural pause when actually technically there might not be.
Yeah, because it says my breath became shallow as he sat up. So like he's laying there, like kind of twirling her
Oh,
hair, right?
true.
And then sits up and says, taste it.
Taste it. Yeah. Yeah.
So all right, Tammy boy, you got some game. But then
Yeah.
of course the second one, every gift comes with a price. You're like, fuck, man, why Gabby? Fuck boy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And then he asks her for a kiss.
Yeah. I do think it's interesting that, yeah, it seems like, again, I don't know. He's like talking like we're Fae, right? Doesn't he say that? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm one of
I'm
the
one
high
of the
Fae. We don't give anything without gaining something from it. And
But he
I don't
lets
know,
her
it seems
out of
like
it
Tamlin always, yeah.
because he's the one who kisses her to to let her see the glen, right? He kisses her eyes, I believe.
Yeah, I thought that was the kiss, and I was like, oh, okay, so he took it
Yeah,
easy. I
no.
didn't make her like fully kiss him, but then later he asked for it,
And
the
she kisses his
kiss.
hand.
Yeah, which I was like, okay, but yeah,
I mean,
but
it's
I don't
just
know.
flirty. It's extra seduction. It's flirty. It's it's I think that that's what this is. It's like it's another one of those chapters that builds up the romance, builds up the charm, has the readers and Feyre falling for him because he's got this like playful, cute, hot energy.
Yeah,
Um but yeah, but there's still some things here that are like even in this like moment of being of being seduced and having this like kind of sexy and wanting to fall for him, he's still asking for something in return. Like,
he's like being a rule follower. Like
yeah.
it's like I'm a Fae. We're supposed to do this
Well, that or like she still has to pay a price for his favor.
for his intimacy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and like it costs to be with the High Lord.
yeah, yeah,
And then
and
that
it's
takes the like authenticity out of it when she's like paying for affection.
yeah, and it is meant to be more lighthearted, but that's why I'm so stuck on it because I'm like, no, this is too heavy of a line. Even she frowns at it.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I mean, and maybe it's just speaking to like myth and stuff, but it does speak to like, this is the guy who's gonna get
Yeah.
mad at her for giving her jewels to someone to pay their tithe
Yeah.
because he's like, this is not how we do it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's something very interesting. And also, we don't really see this come back that much. Like, you'd expect more people to kind of act like this.
Mhm.
And like when I think in Mist and Fury, or maybe at the end of this book, Rhys sort of goes, "Oh, you learned about Fae quick, right?"
Mhm.
But like, no one ever really puts this into practice as much. I feel
Yeah.
like. I feel like I don't know if that just got forgotten about, or if only Tamlin's an asshole like this.
Maybe.
But yeah,
I love that she has her Wizard of Oz moment. Um,
yes.
where like he kisses her eyes and then all of a sudden, like, the movie's in color and there's lollipop guilds. You do know what I'm talking about, yes?
I have seen parts of Wizard of Oz.
Okay,
I
so
probably haven't seen the whole thing since I was like a
you know that the
little
beginning of
kid.
the movie starts in black and white,
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then
But
she
mostly from like people doing commentary videos about it.
okay,
I'm
but
like,
you
I
do know
know
this. Okay, so in the film,
theoretic.
it's in black and white, and she sings over the rainbow, and then there's a tornado, and she gets swept up and gets gonked, whatever, and
Yeah,
then she wakes up in Oz, and when she wakes up and walks out of the door, everything is in color, and it was like one of the first full
maybe it
length,
was the first.
yes, full length, full color film. My mom tells me it was the first film that she saw in color at home that like or they knew that the film was in color, and then when she saw it, I don't know if it was at her house or whatever, but like when she saw it, the beginning of it is in black and white, and she was like asking her dad like, I thought it was supposed to be in color, what the fuck? And then of course she goes through and she was like, this whole moment when like TV was color and it was amazing. That's what this reminds me of, where she just like he kisses her eyeballs and she opens up and she's in fucking Oz, which is like kind of cool. Like whatever, it's a
Yeah,
call. And like everything is beautiful and like the sounds and everything is richer and clearer and right. It says the brook was near invisible rainbow water, yada yada yada. But what I found interesting was that there was no tangy metallic stench. No, the smell of magic had become like jasmine, like lilac, like roses. And I'm wondering what is it about, let's say it's human senses alone. What is it about human senses that makes magic metallic and yuck versus when she's given fae sight and then it smells good? Like, is that a
Yeah,
defense mechanism or like a predatory, right?
maybe.
Like fae are human predators, and so maybe that magic is supposed to be like a warning sign, right? It shouldn't smell good, shouldn't be enticing. It should be fearful. So that's interesting. But also, like, do glamours taste metallic? Smell metallic, right? Like, is this
Well, not oh, they can't all the time. And maybe when they're first put on, because she does taste it when the first glamour is put on her.
Mhm.
But it couldn't be like an ongoing thing because her mouth would always taste like
But yeah, so that's what
metal.
I'm saying. Like when, yeah, so like when magic flares, it has this metallic. I mean, I get whatever. I'm reading too much into it. Like at the end of the day, it's supposed to be like
Yeah.
human senses can't smell it great and or taste it, and so it has a weird taste smell when it happens because it feels otherworldly. And then when that drops and you get to actually see it and smell it for the full senses of a fae, it's gonna have this like beauty and depth and Wizard of Oz feel to it. But I don't know. I just like to keep it in my back pocket where it's like, why is it a metallic tang? When does that
Well,
happen?
I when we say metallic tang, I always think of like the taste of blood.
Yep. Yep.
Um, and so I'm like, maybe it's her human blood. I was also looking up to see if anyone smelled like jasmine, because I think jasmine is Aelin's soap, right?
I believe so, yes.
Or no, lavender. Who in throne of glass smells like
I
jasmine?
think it's Kale's wife.
Well, I think
Irene.
it's Aelin
It's
actually.
Aelin.
Jasmine, lemon, verbena, and crackling embers.
Yeah, okay. That tracks.
Okay. Yeah, there's something in my brain that was like, yeah, who was? Because lilac also. I looked up lilac and they said Feyre smells like lilac, so she's
Hmm.
smelling herself for the first time. Uh, or she's smelling her own magic, as well as Aelin's magic through Tamlin's blood.
Maybe. Yeah, I think that it's supposed to be this like
Yeah.
when all of those smells together are dulled, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just oh, this whole next part about what she sees in Tamlin drives me fucking up the wall. But go for it.
Oh, I just thought it was funny how she's like getting ready for her kiss and she licks her lips, and I'm like, you want just a real wet kiss, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. You kind of do that like when you're nervous, you like lick your lips and stuff, but it was just kind of funny to me. Oh, the grass crunched as Tamlin rose up on his knees. It's supposed to be green grass. Why is it crunchy? She hearing Tamlin's
Oh,
500-year-old niece?
girl, my knees are not 500. They also crunch. So yeah, for sure.
Because
It's
I'm
all
like,
like
it's green grass. It should not crunch.
that's the theory. Tamlin's knees crunch. That's the theory of the book. That he wakes up sore, he's got lower back pain, and his knees are creaky. 100%.
Yes.
Tamlin's a millennial.
Oh, that's
Um,
funny. Yeah.
so she's looking around and everything's beautiful, right?
Yes.
And magic, everything was magic. It broke my heart, right? She's like, oh my god, that's amazing. Which like we've had those moments, I'm sure, where like you see something so absolutely fucking amazing, you're just like, ugh, I'm gutted. I looked to Tamlin and my heart cracked entirely. It was Tamlin, but not rather, it was the Tamlin I dreamed of. We are privy to her dreams.
Yeah. Well, we assume she has other ones or that it's not real dreams, but yes.
But like it felt so weird for me to be like he was it was the one I had dreamed of. Like when are every time he touches you, you're like "Yee," right? And like until
Mhm.
recently, and like so what, when you still thought that he was your is he my savior, is he my captor, you were still thinking of like, oh, maybe he's got this fucking gorgeous raw magic energy that's just gonna exude from the fucking heavens. Come on. It just felt
Yeah.
weird, right?
It's funny. Yeah, I guess. Well, maybe it's it clearly also means like the Tamlin I had made up in my head because he's not. He's that's not really how he is. Yeah.
Or because his skin gleamed with a golden sheen and around his head glowed a circlet of sunshine. So now Tamlin looks like extra Christian Mormon Jesus because he's also blonde.
Why Mormon? Oh,
Mormon Jesus is extra blonde. So he looks like Mormon Jesus. And so like maybe that's what it means. Like, is he my captor? Is he my savior? And now he looks like a savior.
Mormon savior.
The Mormon savior. But yeah, so I think that like this is the Tamlin I dreamed of. If physically he's the one you've dreamt of, like this, you thought like he had this beauty in him, or this beauty is resonant, like because he looks good, kind,
Yeah.
caring savior. He looks like the good guy. He looks like not the villain. That she's
Yeah.
like, this is the one that I dreamed of. That he would be this good thing. I don't know. It just it felt weird. I was like, what do you mean the Tamlin you've dreamed of? What?
That's funny. Yeah, I just imagine. I guess I just read it as like the Tamlin I'd always imagined, but yeah, it was like so. In the last 3 days, you've been imagining this, and it's just what
But
you
how can
imagine.
you
But yeah.
possibly, if you are just human and you have human eyes and you've never seen the possibilities of magic and you are it's impossible to see the possibilities of magic because you have human eyes. How can you
Yeah.
imagine, like, you know what I mean? It's like the whole like graven image. Like, how can you create an image of of something otherworldly when you've never seen it? So how can you be like, this is what I imagine? And like, sure, people imagine heaven all the time, so maybe, but I don't know. It's just when it's an impossibility of seeing, it seems weird to be like, this is what I've dreamt of. Okay, you dreamt of him
Mhm.
glowing, cute.
Yeah, well, and
You
I
dreamt of
I mean,
him
on a
more
symbolic
attractive than he
level,
is. That's what this tells me. She's like,
yes.
this was the High Lord. Devastatingly handsome, captivating, powerful beyond belief. That's what you want him to be. You don't want him to be dulled.
Yeah. Personality and looks wise,
Yeah.
honestly, because like, I mean, and a lot of this stuff is symbolic of like she wants a good
Hmm.
person, and Tamlin is she imagines like this is a classic like what you do when you're blinded by
Yeah.
love, whatever, when you're young. You like imagine these good qualities in this person that aren't really there. Maybe they are. But certainly the halo is very overt.
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't even realize it was like it's actually a literal
Yeah.
halo like in
Hmm.
this scene, which is very interesting. But I also noticed like the his eyes, like the eyes, which okay, like every color, they're so bright, so beautiful. Like to me, and again, I think because like the whole chapter is about intimacy with Tamlin and the magical world, right? So, but like eyes are supposed to be like a very like if you look at something, you're dealing with it directly, like the symbolically when people say like don't look away, right? Look at the thing that it's a seeing, like admit the reality, right? But it's also like a form of intimacy, and this is this moment like. She gives like 2 lines to talk about Tamlin's beauty, but then she gives like a whole ass paragraph to just talk about the color of his
Hmm.
eyes. And so, on a symbolic level, I'm like, okay, so this is like you desperately want this deep, beautiful intimacy with this person, but this is not. I don't know. But it's interesting that it's like technically he's removing his glamour and that's who he really is, but it's he really lives with that glamour on all the time.
Yeah.
Like he's never gonna let her in
Yeah.
actually. Both symbolically and literally he never looks like this
Yep.
again. I don't think. Like he can't walk around like this. Yeah, so I don't know. To me, on a symbolic level, it's very. I'm like, okay, but also when you're reading for the first time, you're like,
Does
wow, this
Rhys
is
ever drop his
incredible.
glamour for her? I think he does.
That is a
I think
good
he
question.
does. I think she asks him to at some point. Or is Rhys just never glamored because he's gorgeous all the time?
Feel like
It's a good question.
I feel like he might do it when they fuck, but well,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think so.
you
I
know,
think so, yeah. He just,
yeah,
like, comes up from between her thighs and is just like, "Halo." Dark
yeah,
star, halo. Yeah, yeah, because I think at some point does she like, "I want to see you," or my and he drops the glamour?
yeah.
Something.
I feel like she's. That you might be thinking of like, um, She said it's a Tamlin for sure.
Have you seen the Disney Hercules movie?
Not since I was like 4.
You know how he starts to glow when like his divinity comes back? I just this whole next part where he's just like being a High Lord, even with limited powers, comes with physical markers too. It's why I couldn't hide what I was becoming from my brothers, from anyone. It was still easier to blend in. And so like he's just like out one day and he's just like glowing. Just like
Okay,
sparkling in the sunshine like a fucking vampire? What? It's like glamour it,
that's okay.
glamour it,
That's what
glamour
I
it,
was
glamour it. Yeah.
wondering. Like physical markers can.
But not only
Let's hear a little more detail. What
that,
does
but
that mean?
like
Does everyone have a freckle?
not only that, but like
Like,
okay, so if you have these physical markers, it makes you more beautiful, makes you have fucking ethereal.
is that what he means by physical markers? Just like you're extra
Yeah,
hot?
yeah. It's why I
Okay.
couldn't hide what I was becoming from my brothers, from anyone. It's still easier to blend in. So could you hide it or you couldn't hide it, but you have glamour, which you do hide it. And it's easier to blend in, but you couldn't blend in. And they knew what you were, but
Yeah.
then you glamored so that they wouldn't know what you were. And what? Tamlin,
That makes me think
give me
like when do people learn to
the full
glamour?
story here, my man. I think you're leaving some shit out.
Can random fae glamour themselves? Like, is 4-year-old Tamlin being like, I want to look like a dinosaur today. Let me glamour myself to look like a dinosaur?
Glamour would
Like,
be
you know?
the second most dangerous fucking magical tool for a toddler to have. Could you imagine if if a toddler could glamour?
Dude, a toddler would like be like, I want to glamour myself to look just like my stuffed animal, and then like not be able to change
Yes.
it back.
Yes. And then like mine right now is space obsessed. So what? I just end up with a fucking full size fucking Jupiter that's just crushed the world because he wants to be Jupiter? Like, come on. Yeah, that would be terrifying.
I mean, I guess it is just an appearance thing, so maybe you could walk around. Can you imagine? I glamour myself as a statue, and then I'm just walking around.
That's hilarious.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
then
but
for
like
2 years straight, my daughter would have been Elsa. Like not Barbie Elsa, but like full on 3D Pixar Elsa. And my son
dude,
would be Mickey Mouse. Like those would be my children. I'd be like, don't they look so much like me?
that is so funny, dude. Okay, but actually, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, when did they learn to glamour? Because then I'm like, well, okay, like it's physical markers. Okay, if it's just hotness, hopefully that
I
doesn't.
think it's the
But then, do you just wake up one day when you're like 18, 19, and you're just hot, or do you from like that's why I'm like, is it a secret freckle that all the
well,
High
like
Lords
so
have
his
like in the same
skin
spots?
gleamed. So he has like a glowing.
So that's what he's talking
His
about.
head glowed in a circlet of sunshine.
Okay, so it's the halo.
Which, by the way, there's a couple of times that there's at least one time that they talk about Elain having a circlet of sun above around her head.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I don't know. Okay,
Which I hate
yeah,
the
this
theory
this
that she's going to
really
end up being the High Lady of the Spring Court. I don't know why. I think
well minus Tamlin. Tamlin's gonna die, and then she's
I
gonna
don't
take
know
over.
how that's possible, but okie dokie sounds great.
Tamlin can die,
I'm
absolutely.
fine with Tamlin dying. I meant that how did she become the High Lady? Like I don't give a shit about how
Yeah,
clearly Tamlin can die.
it would be so unhinged to be honest, but
I mean,
the
there
circle
are
thing is
theories. I
very
mean, there's a
interesting.
million theories that like she's actually Tamlin's mate, and like the moment when she comes out
Mhm.
of the cauldron, Lucien actually looks to Tamlin first, and then like is like that's my mate. And there's a theory or something, or maybe there's evidence that his metallic eye can see mate bonds, and
I am so curious about what his fucking
so
eye
when
can
she
see, dude,
comes
because
out
they
of the
it's something.
cauldron, he sees the mate bond to Tamlin, looks at Tamlin, and before Tamlin can say anything, is like, "That's my mate," and like jumps in front of that situation, and then he's the one to go, and that's why it's whatever, and like yada yada. We'll get to that, but
God, that would be so crazy. People would rage.
yeah. But then also, if he can see mate bonds and bargains, I don't know. Questionable
Yeah.
because like she has the tattoos. Like can he see that her High Lady tattoo when she's could you imagine if he has been seeing this the whole time, she comes back in book 3 with her
He is suspicious of her the whole
bargain
time.
broken, right? So left arm bargain from under the mountain broken. And he can see the full on mate bond, high lady, all the bullshit of the right arm. And he's just like,
Well, but that would be very, like, you know, if he did fuck up with Hybern and cause the whole thing, that's his first
yeah,
shot at
yeah,
redemption. Is to shut the fuck
yep.
up. And I don't think Lucien's a bad person, even if all our Hybern theories are
No,
true.
I
Which
don't think,
there's
no.
no way they could all be true. Part of it could be true though. But like even so, he's still I still think he's a good person inherently. He just made a mistake.
I don't even think that I mean, let's be honest. I don't even know that it's a mistake. There's no other, like, it's either go to war or try to figure out this curse business. And the curse business wasn't even a reality. There was no person to do this.
Yeah,
So your only option,
it's
yeah,
logical.
your only option is to build an army. And all of Prythian is underneath a fucking mountain. So yeah,
Yeah,
you go with the other dude who's she pissed off too. An enemy of my enemy is my friend. I get it.
yeah, that is
But
so funny.
like, yeah, so I don't think that this is like a damning moment, but I could see it being something that comes back. But yeah, I don't think that this is a a, a marker of Lucien as being a bad character. I think Lucien's a good guy.
No, but it would make a lot of people upset with him, and probably a lot of people would have very
Well,
interesting
people need
feelings
to
about it.
people need
Yeah.
to practice forgiveness every day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the question is do they does he gradually get a halo at puberty? Like does it pop on his head one
I
day
don't know.
and then he like maybe he doesn't look in a
Mhm.
mirror before he walks out of his room for breakfast and then they're like cuz if it showed up at birth, they're like kill him. Probably a bunch of High Lords would kill their
Not only
kids
that,
like
but we
that,
don't.
So clearly it's not that. But
Yeah, but like also we don't see Eris have, like, we don't
let's
see any
assume
other.
that
I mean,
everyone is glamoring
Helion.
themselves. And does Lucian wouldn't Lucian know
Yeah,
to glamour? Maybe he's kind of always
that's what I'm saying.
glamoring.
Like, could you imagine Lucian just like Lucian? Yeah, Lucian's just like really early on knows to glamour.
Yeah, maybe it's like an instinctual like glamoring.
What if that I mean, that could be part of. I mean, again, I don't know that SJM actually said that there would be a betrayal, but like, could you imagine if like Lucian the whole time when they're like, we got to tell him, and then they tell him and he just drops his glamour and he's all fucking glowy McGee and he's just like, yeah, I know that I'm the next High Lord, and I know that Baron isn't my dad. Like, clearly. Like, we're like, his signs of High Lord status, the physical changes, the physical markers, was his indication
Yeah.
long ago of who he really is. And so then when they're like, I don't know how to break the news to you, and he's like, I've known for centuries. Like, and then drops his glamour and he's all glowy bits. Like, that'd be so cool. But
Maybe
yeah, that's nowhere in the text for
maybe
us to be
because
able to see.
like hmm. Okay, so does the magic like the next High Lord is sort of like maybe because Helion's not like
What I'm
close to
saying.
death, like
Or maybe Tamlin's making
no,
shit
because
up
it's Rhys
always.
and Feyre who figure out, oh, that he's Helion's kid. Probably Helion's only kid. Helion's still like he ought him, but maybe it doesn't kick in. Yeah, maybe it like activates.
Can you pass High Lord status to a non
Yeah, it
biological
says
heir?
someone says somewhere that if you were to die without like an heir, it would pass to somebody else. I don't remember now where exactly.
The magic just knows who's
Well,
noble
that
enough
was
for the
I think that's
cause.
why my
Okay,
Elaine
cool,
theory is
cool.
like that. It's because it's somebody, because
Oh,
Tamlin dies with no heirs, it picks somebody and it goes, that bitch is made and interesting and
okay.
likes flowers. Let's do it. Okay. Oh, here's my other thing. This is kind of we already talked about this, but my other question with this physical marker thing is if the High Lord and the High Lord established heir, the one who already had the physical markers, die at the same time, which is not even that uncommon, I don't think. It seems like people are killing people's families left and right. But like that happens.
Yeah.
Somebody just boom physical markers out of nowhere. Like, you're
Yeah.
off, your family's dying somewhere, you're, like,
They go
chilling at your
full
house.
They go full end of the Disney movie Hercules, just
Boom.
bow. They go to cut his wire turns gold, he starts to glow.
Can
Bada
you
boom, you're a
imagine
High
you're, like,
Lord.
some stupid, like, teenage son, your dad's, like, off at war with your older brother, and you're, like, trying to get it on with, like, this girl from next door, and you're
You're Rune. You're
exactly,
describing
and then
Rune.
just bam,
She
you're
went
like, "I
Rune
think my dad and brother
yeah.
just died. Let's" but, like, can you imagine? I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get this in one last time. Just close your eyes. I know it's bright. I don't have a glamour for it, but I'm trying to fuck right now, okay? And then I'll deal with dead daddy later, but I'm trying to get it wet. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm sure they would be, like, sad, but, like, that's what I imagined was, like, what if you're just off living your life and you
I
just
don't
bam, physical markers?
how sad, and this is a question that we can just sit on for next time, but like how sad is it when a 1,000-year-old being dies? Like when someone who's human lives to be like 98 and we're like, she lived a long life.
True,
Good for
but
her. Time
maybe
to fucking go. Like I know like people are less sad when people live a long
yeah.
time, right?
No,
Theoretically, I
I
don't know,
think
maybe
it's
I'm an
true, but
asshole.
I also think it's partly because we are designed only to live, like, 100 years, so if someone got pretty close, you're like, "Awesome, that's the best you could hope for," and also, they were probably
Yeah.
having a hard time. So a lot of times you're like, that was a
Yeah, that's
better
true.
option than how you've been living for the last 6 months. So I think that, but like they don't
Fair.
have that option. Plus, you know, 1,000 years could be like middle age for them. Like they do eventually, it does say they can die of old age, but it like I think it's like a long time.
So then here is the philosophical question of Fae and Fairy. If the point of humanity, the point of life, the meaning of life is death, right? That's
Hmm.
what brings us meaning, is that we die. Then what is the meaning of fairy life? And then how do we also think about that question in the context of their increasingly lack of humiliation?
Like
Um
humanity?
Not humiliation,
Yeah.
like the humanity. Yeah, humanity as they get older, because they talk about it all the time, right? Like as we get older, because we age, we like are less caring, we're less kind, like we don't give a shit about life as
Humans or
much and
them?
like whatever else. And so it's like
Yeah.
the fae, right? And so like how do you maintain your sense of morality and caring of the world when the meaning of your life is not that you die?
Well, maybe they don't want to. Like maybe they're
But
not.
well, like right,
Mm,
but then you
yeah.
have Feyre, right? And all of these stories have this, right?
A
Twilight,
human with an
and
immortal.
every
Yeah.
single yeah, or a human becoming immortal. How do and like it's the shift into that immortality that brings them the joys of the world, that brings them their purpose, and yet it's kind of should do the
Hmm.
complete opposite. That gaining immortality should wreck you morally and kill your humanity because it takes away the one thing that makes you mortal, that gives this life purpose, is that it's limited. And I think what's beautiful is that Nesta knows that. Nesta knows that becoming immortal, she's going to not just lose a part of her humanity by the basic sense of losing humanity and becoming immortal, but I think that that might be what she's also worried about is like, I'm already cold. I'm already shut off. I already have all of this shit. I can't also lose my humanity because then I have nothing and I will be a
Hmm.
fucking monster.
Well, I mean, yeah, because like Feyre sort of finds her purpose with like doing good and like I will also say I think some people might be confused. Like we're sort of going with the assumption like that most people derive meaning from death because it like scares you and because it's like all life sort of is going towards this. Like I don't know if normal people would randomly
Well,
like
because
accept that without thinking about it, but
yeah, no,
I
I'm
think we've
sure
talked
most
about it
people
on
don't
this
think
podcast
that like
before though. But I
I'm
just thought I'd just clarify that.
I'm controversial, I'm sure, in my like the meaning of my life is
No,
that I
yeah,
don't.
I think it's definitely understandable, but I just was like, maybe I should clarify, like, it's because like that's what gives
Mhm.
you want to live because of because you're gonna die one day. But I will say on that note, like you can still die anytime. You could, so maybe it's like
Sure, sure. And I think that that might be how they maintain that is how they like that there's still even within their immortality, there's
threats
still,
and yeah,
um yeah, there's still like right, there's still existential
yeah.
crises.
Uh,
Um, do you have anything else for 211?
oh, actually, one quick question: do we ever see another singing tree? This is the only
No.
one.
Mhm.
Is this a spring court
Mhm.
thing? Like, I'm just like, is this a plot hole? She just forget that she did this, or is it spring? Or is like, I want to go talk to some trees
No
in book
idea.
6. Although it's Elain's book, so maybe we will be. Maybe she's talking to some fucking flowers.
Maybe.
Oh yeah. So okay, the other thing, and this kind of goes with, I guess, sort of a little theme of this episode is like this intimacy intertwined with like seeing the magic. This, in a way, the magic is like a little removing of vulnerability or something. But I think it's interesting that the thing that never comes off is the mask, which is also like, I guess it covers his nose, but it really also covers like his eyes, which is the thing that she, if we go
Mhm.
with my theory of like the eyes are meant to symbolize the emotional availability, which Tamlin will never really have. This mask is like the one piece that never comes off. And in the next book, it's also going to be the one piece that he never fully gives to her, which is, his, yeah, being vulnerable with her. But I was like, I guess
Mhm.
I was just, well, maybe I answered my own question. I was thinking like, why, she says I wasn't sure why it bothered me so greatly, but maybe it's for that, like she's understanding that on a deeper level. But I was also like, why do we think, why does it bother her? Is there anything to this? Or is it just like meant to be a symbolic thing like that? Or do you think that?
I think she wants to know him more and that this covering on his face, I think one is limiting that and like keeping a barrier between her and him and that vulnerability, right? That like openness that she really wants. She
Mhm.
wants that connection. And I think we're supposed to think that it also is her ever growing concern for
Okay.
the blight and wanting to be helpful.
Yeah, she wants to
That
take off
she
his
wants
mask.
this to come off of his she wants to take
Okay,
off his
yeah,
mask.
okay, I like
Yeah.
that too. Because I also, then she says, I wondered when I'd grown so shallow. I was like, she thinks that she just wants to see his face.
Yeah, I think it's that she wants to be closer. I think that she doesn't want a barrier between them. I think that like she, that's all kind of romantic desire stuff, but I think part of it is that she wants whatever is has done
Hmm.
this to
Yeah,
to be removed.
yeah.
And she wants to be helpful and she can't. I think it's a reminder that like she said, "How can I help?" And he said, "Don't worry about it.
Hmm.
Like this is for me to do." And like has pushed her off. And I think it's another reminder that she can't do anything about the situation that he's in and that she wants to. And I think it's going to become um like
Yeah.
a compulsion for her to want to do more and gets her underneath a mountain
Hmm.
fighting a giant worm.
I could
So,
also read it a little bit like suspicion too. Like, why the fuck do I gotta know what,
yeah.
like, Anyway. And then, I don't know where this is. Tamlin says the word bargain somewhere.
Yeah, he says, "What about your part of the bargain?"
Oh,
And he says, "What about my kiss?" And she grabs his fingers and slams her mouth on the back of his hand. Says, "There's your kiss." Which is cute.
did you
Good
think
for her.
there's anything to that, to
And he
him saying
laughs.
bargain? My just alarm bells always go off whenever I see the word bargain at all. It's probably just nothing. I just thought it was, with how important bargains
Yeah, I
are,
mean,
it's
it's
kind of a weird, maybe it's before she decided that bargains were super important, so she just, but I feel like if I had a big thing like this in my world, I'm not casually putting bargain in a sentence.
I think it's also supposed to be playful. I think
Definitely, yeah.
that it is supposed to close the separation between them, that she's human and he's fae, and that you never make a deal with a fae because bargains are dangerous and they will always find a loophole and they can never lie and like
Mhm.
all of that stuff. I think it's supposed to be breaking that down, that like now she can see through the glamour. Now she's getting closer, like that their worlds are getting closer
And she's very
together.
Fae-like in how she skirted the bargain and gave him a kiss on the hand instead of a real kiss.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. That he didn't, yeah, well, you didn't specify,
She's a Fae
so
now
here we
too.
go. So she tells him what he looks like. So I have a theory, and it's gonna piss
Do it.
everybody off, but okay. Just because we talk about darkness
No,
doesn't
no,
mean
no,
it
no.
has to be
I'm
Rhys.
unhinged when I do that. I'm like, shadow.
But bear with
Okay.
me for
Okay.
a fucking minute here, okay? When she sees Tamlin, she thinks it's the Tamlin I've dreamed of. Then they have this conversation. He says, "What do you think I look like?" She gives him the description. He kisses her hand. He roars. And then the willow
Hmm.
puts her to sleep. Okay? I should bring you home. Blah, 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 right? It says, I should bring you home, he murmured, but he didn't move to drag me to my feet. Instead, I felt a slight thud in the earth, and the spring rain and new grass scent of him cloyed in my nose as he lay beside me. So they're still laying down. I tingled with pleasure as he stroked my hair. So she's falling asleep. This was such a lovely dream. I'd never slept so wonderfully before. She's asleep. So warm, nestled beside him, calmly, faintly, echoing into my world of slumber, he spoke again, his breath caressing my ear. You're exactly as I dreamed you'd be too. The darkness swallowed everything. She never said
She
that
did.
to him. No, she didn't.
She's. Oh. Hmm. You're right. She thinks it.
She thinks it. And then she falls asleep to a lovely dream into a space where she's connected to Rhys.
But.
And Rhys has already met her. And Rhys says, "You're exactly as I dreamed you'd be too." Not
I thought you
Tamlin.
said this is about darkness not meaning Rhys.
I know, I'm saying, I know that it's pissing.
Oh.
I know that every instance of darkness is not
Yeah,
about Rhys,
like
but this
maybe this.
instance
Okay.
of darkness just fucking. I'm trying not to have all of our fucking listeners, all 7 of them, be pissed off at us because every time we see darkness or shadows or whatever, they're like, it's not always Rhys, you
Oh,
crazy bitch. It's
I
fine.
think it is.
But this is Rhys.
Yeah. Okay. I
This
think
is
that's so
Rhys.
interesting. Yeah.
Tamlin doesn't say that to her. Rhys just said it to her.
Yeah, because it really makes no sense for Tamlin to say it. Like he didn't. Maybe you could say maybe you're exactly as I dreamed you'd be.
Tamlin's
Like
not that romantic.
to break the curse.
Tamlin is
You know.
not Tamlin is
Yeah.
not that romantic. Sorry, he's not. He just said, "I'm not giving you anything without anything in return. Everything is a bargain. I'm going to be flirty and fun, and I'm going to kiss your eyeballs, and I'm going to ask for shit in return, and I'm going to giggle, and I'm going to laugh, and I'm going to be lighthearted and a little bit seductive. I am not going to be
Mhm.
sincere."
Okay, but Reese can't. So let's say it really is Reese, and he's like, he can't. He must not know she's with Tamlin. So you know what I mean. So is
No.
he like in her mind, kind of, but like not fully understanding that she's lying with Tamlin? Like, wouldn't he be able to figure that out if he like? I guess maybe they can be sharing a dream.
Maybe it's an emotion.
Yeah.
That or it's an emotion, this, like, this is everything I've dreamed
Yeah, I
of
mean, it could also just be like
feeling.
within this book, it could just be her like imagination. That's what she wants Tamlin to say to her. But I do think I like the idea that it's like sort of Reese and their connection and stuff. Um, but I think Reese would then know
Faintly
that yeah.
echoing into my world of slumber.
Hmm.
I'm just saying, that's Rhys. Tamlin's not this
No,
deep.
it,
I'm
it felt
sorry.
very much
Tamlin's not
like what Reese does.
too
Yeah.
too good. Yeah, it's what Rhys does.
That is
Yeah.
very interesting. I was also wondering why it seems like her kissing his hand caused this slumber. Like she was like chill. She had seen the magic, and she even heard the singing. So it's not the singing put her to sleep. It says There's your I slammed my mouth against his hand. There's your kiss. He roared with laughter, but the world blurred. So it's like immediately following this kiss, and I'm like, why?
Mhm.
Is it just like, hey, magic
Yeah, I don't know.
stuff? Is it?
Well, it says the willow beckoned me to lay down, and I obliged. So, like, maybe it got loud. It was like, "Oh, you can hear me now. Sleep."
Yeah. But I just was like,
But yeah, it does seem very. It does feel very, like right at like
well, and if we want to
simultaneous.
go kind of unhinged, symbolic as well, Tamlin, intimacy with Tamlin sort of is like lulls her into this world. Like she goes there to
Yeah,
like if she were to like, I bet you
she's
10
submissive.
years after the fact, she goes, I did what for a boy I knew for 3 months? So maybe it's
Yeah,
like him
yeah.
lulling her into this, or maybe it even was an enchant. Like maybe this is like he's like, let's speed things up. I don't
Uh huh.
know.
Yeah,
Or maybe taking the glamour off. Because in the next chapter it opens with her being able to see Alice. Maybe it makes her more
yeah.
susceptible to his charms. I don't know. I just was like, kiss equals falling asleep. That feels symbolic, but also it's kind of interesting.
She clearly likes the
Yes.
world. And so if you want someone to fall in love with you, you make them also fall in
Yeah.
love with your home.
Yeah.
And so I think that it's sure, maybe it's not a strategy, but it's a
Hmm.
good one,
Yeah.
right? Like if you want proximity will work itself out, right? I'm attractive, you're attractive, we're stuck in the same house together. Like it's bound to happen. That's just kind of the nature of of love and romance, unfortunately, is that like half of the reason why we're with the people that we're with is because we were stuck in the
Hmm.
same space with them, right? It's not a very romantic sentiment, but whatever. But if you put me into a room with somebody, okay, not now because we're married, but if you put us into a room with somebody who one is physically attractive, so like they got that, at least I'm not completely repulsed, even though she has lots of moments of repulsion, but not physically repulsed. All right, it's someone that I could find attractive. And you're kind to me and you give me the thing like you're taking care of me. So I'm not on my in my fight or flight space, right? So now I can start being a little bit vulnerable. Now we build a little bit of a friendship, a little camaraderie, something like that. And your house is fucking gorgeous.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I might want to stay here, especially if my house was a shack with three
Hmm.
shitty people. Yeah, please. Yeah, I would be showing how gorgeous, and we do it for our fucking friends. We clean up our
I
house and
don't,
show off
because I
our
don't have
shit.
any friends. Just kidding.
When I come visit, you
I'll
can
have to
clean
put
up
the
and show off,
broom.
or you cannot clean up, or you cannot, or you cannot clean up. I don't care. But like, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems. Maybe we'll get to a point because we're not reading about Rhys yet. Maybe we'll get to a point where I also am like, oh, this seems a little sus, and it seems, but there's just a
Yeah.
fabrication to
Well,
Tamlin.
because she's literally falling into an enchanted sleep. Like it seems wrong. It seems like when you're first
Yeah.
coming into these books and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, this beautiful world, how nice. It seems, yeah, you're like, hell yeah, this is cool. Second glance, you're like, you, it's
It's
yeah,
watching Snow White as a
yeah,
grown up,
yeah.
which I just did recently. It was
I have
rough.
not seen it in years.
I like trying to explain to my children why this is not a great movie was really fucking challenging because they're too young to really understand consent. But I was like, you
Don't
can't do
kiss
that.
people when they can't say,
You
please kiss me.
don't jump over a fucking wall onto their property because they sing good,
Is
my
that what he
dude.
does?
Back up, Prince. Yeah, she's like singing into the well, and he just like jumps over and pops his little face next to the well with her and like belts out, and she's like, ah, and like runs away. But then when she's behind the thing, she's like doing this, like, oh no, I don't look good enough. And then, of course, like comes out like Juliet, and it's all just like swooning over. And I'm like, there's a fucking wall around the perimeter for a reason, my dude. This is trespassing. Get the
It's
fuck off
funny,
my.
I didn't
Not
know
okay.
that they met before. I thought the first time they kiss is when he wakes her up.
No, nope,
Wait, is that
nope. They
Sleeping
meet at
Beauty
the
or Snow White?
well, and he's like,
Both?
Sleeping Beauty meets two. Sleeping Beauty, he meets her in the forest and also comes up and takes over her song and chases her around.
That's funny.
And then she's like, "Oh no, good sir, I can't do anything with you." And she runs away, and then she finds herself sleeping for 100 years. By the way, did you realize that she slept for
No.
100 years? And that they put a enchantment on the entire kingdom. Because if she slept for 100 years, everyone would be dead when she woke up.
Oh. That seems like a weird detail to add in. Like, why don't you just say like 1 year instead?
Whatever. Do you know what else is a weird detail? A fucking enchantress cursing a 10-year-old boy for answering the door like an asshole.
Yeah, I really don't remember fucking
She
anything.
said, "You're gonna be 10 years this curse, and it'll break before you have to break it before you're 21." Bro, he was 11? He said, "Bitch, back up.
Girls are
You're a stranger."
icky.
And she said, "You're a
You're
beast." And she said, "Rude, you a beast now. And not only are you a beast, but all of your servants are gonna be houseware, home goods, this bitch.
that is
Go."
so crazy. Yeah.
Oh, the unhinged theories of Disney.
Oh,
Um,
that's crazy. I do like your Rhys theory. I like it specifically from like somebody please write that fan fiction. Because of like Rhys, like, imagine I'm gonna say he's in his own dream and he's like lying next to Amarantha and he falls asleep and he like
uh-huh.
sort of in his mind wanders down the bond into Feyre's mind and sort of maybe
Yeah,
watches the
and
scene
she
from her
says,
eyes and doesn't understand that Tamlin's there or
or
just comes at the end of
he
it.
hears her, or he hears her say, "This is how I dreamed you would be."
Yeah, and he's like getting like flashes still kind of like he's not
Or, "This is how I dreamed he would be," because she's not going to say
true.
Tamlin in
Yeah,
her mind,
exactly.
right?
Um
Like, "This is how I dreamed he would be." And he's standing there in his dream with her, or he's talking to her, and he's like, "It's how I dreamed you
Or
would be
maybe
too.
he even
You're
realizes
everything
that
I
she is
dreamed
talking
of."
about someone else and he's just like, whatever, this is clearly
Yeah.
somebody who's important to me. So I'm just gonna lay here for a second. Like
Yeah.
maybe he even, yeah, not realizing it's Tamlin, but just realizing it's somebody. And then he just is like, I'm just gonna have a nice
Mhm.
moment in my dream here with you.
Or maybe he's not. What if he's not
Then
dreaming?
I think he would sniff out
Does that
Tamlin
mean that he.
easier and he would have come sooner. That's the
Yeah,
only
that's
reason I'm
fair.
like,
All right.
he
That's fair. So then their connection is only while he's asleep?
no.
I mean, that's the only information that we get, is that he gets, because he says that he gets flashes of her, not just when he's sleeping, he gets flashes of her.
Yeah, well maybe it's a strong feeling, like,
Maybe
maybe
he.
that kiss was a very like she sent it down the bond. And then he came and was like, "Oh, you're having a nice time sleeping in this field. Let me cuddle up next to you, in my brain."
Well, remember when he said that, like, the visions used to be really, like, blurry, like they were through a veil, and then they became not, and he realized then she was on their side of the wall, because the wall was probably
Yeah, I wonder if they
blocking
got
out the
extra
stuff.
clear from like the
So,
glamour clearing. Yeah. So is that what you were gonna
yeah.
say? Yeah.
Yeah, or that, like, or in that surge of her eyes being open, right? That he got a glimpse of that too. That, like, oh, she can see it, and when she was just like, "This is what I dreamed it would be,"
Yeah.
or whatever, right? That, like, because it's a feeling, right? You don't say in your head, "This is everything I imagined it would be." You just sit there with your heart cracked and open, and this awe that
Yeah,
she
that was probably a
describes in the
really
book
big
of being
emotion
like.
that Reese could feel.
And he felt that, and yeah, and then, like, thinking, like, the feeling of, like, "This is what I imagined, this is what I dreamed Prythian would be, like, this beauty,
Hmm.
this enchantment, this all the things." And then, yeah, and then he sends down the bond, right? Or he just thinks it, and they're connected. He doesn't
Yeah,
actually
like
do
he
it
can't actually see the other
knowingly,
end of it
the
at
same way that
all.
she. Yeah, because she's not consciously sending shit up the
Mhm.
bond, right? He just gets glimpses of her life and what she sees. And so maybe he's doing the same thing where, like, there's something he thinks it, and it
Oh
gets
yeah,
to
he's
her.
not sending it intentionally. It's like leaking out of him. Yeah.
And that could also be a sign of, because the glamour has dropped, now she's the one who gets some of his mental shit, because she now can see all the magic.
I like that.
It's Rhys.
If it is Tamlin,
It's
I'm
Rhys.
still like, what is this about? This seems strange, but I
Whatever.
like the
It's not.
Rhys
Tamlin's a selfish cunt.
interpretation better.
It's Rhys. Yeah, it's Rhys.
I like that. Cute.
Any last thoughts?
I know it's no, I mean it's a cute little chapter, and I feel like the book. I feel like it's a turning point in the book, where everything kind of heats up from now on. Like the next chapter, we get the head, and then I think it goes.
Sorry, the head on a stick.
Oh
not
yeah, we
the
don't
head.
get actual good blowjob scenes for like 4 books. So yeah, head on a stick.
I was like, she gives him a head
No,
in this book.
but no. So okay, I think it goes the head chapter, the head on a stick chapter,
Yeah.
and then it goes summer solstice, and then Rhys comes
Sexy
to
time.
visit. Then they
Rhys again.
fuck because I realized they don't fuck until she's about to leave the next day. That's crazy.
The night before.
And then
The night before.
so yeah. So head on a stick, summer solstice, Rhys, fuck chapter, leaving chapter. And then it's like
and then we have to interrogate the fuck out of Elain while we're back home. Yeah, we gotta pay attention.
She's
gardening. To
gardening.
that bitch.
She's doing her spring court physical markers.
She's doing her shit.
That's her physical markers. Is that she's a flower person?
Yeah, she's wearing that. She's wearing that floppy hat and that apron. She's getting those hands dirty. Yep. And Nesta be snarling.
People will really be so mad if Elain is Tamlin's mate. People will lose their fucking mind.
Yes. They'd be like, you could have given her to Lucien or Azriel, and you gave her to Tamlin, and then you killed him.
But would it be sick if Elain killed her own mate and she killed Tamlin and then chose Lucien?
Yeah, because she can't choose Az, because Az is for somebody else, and not Bryce. You fucking.
Dude, people
weirdos.
love that thing. I keep saying that.
Oh, I fucking hate it so much. But because he knew that she was there, because he felt her show up.
No,
he's
it's
the
because
guard
of the
of the
legends
fucking.
About, like
Bryce.
She's symbolic of that one Greek character who kills her first husband, and there's something with Hunt. Hunt is also like I'll send you a TikTok. You've probably seen it.
It's because his name, his real name or whatever.
Yes, Orion's mate kills him or something like that. Yeah. It is a lot of setup. It's a good theory. I just will be so upset.
Yeah, he ends up in the stars, I do believe.
Well, Orion is a constellation.
Orion.
But I don't know.
Yeah, but I think that's part of the story is that he ends up. Anyways, I don't know. Whatever. Okie dokie. All right. So next time, right? So next week we'll do chapter 24. So to the stars who listen, see you next week.